God damn it.
Hey,
we choking. We choking.
I know. And we rolling.
Yep,
Choking and we rolling and we rolling and we choking.
Choking.
Goes to show that Miss Aurora does not fucking care if you say wait. What's up, everybody? This is SafeWord, a platform for teaching, learning, and opening the eyes of our audience to the world of kink, BDSM, and relationships.
I
will be your host for the evening, Dr. Sleep himself, Mr. K. Marcos.
And I am your other host. I'm not sleepy, I don't think. Aurora Storm.
And it's your co-host, the Pillow Princess herself, Miss Sasha Lyncher.
Ooh, I like that. The Pillow Princess herself. Hello. Okay, so you know that every month we do a kink of the month. So if you watched our last video, you know what the kink of the month is, or at least you have a good idea, right? Because
you forgot to tell them what it is,
right? If you haven't watched the video, then I guess you're just gonna have to wait to find out what the kink of the month is. I'm just saying. But if you want to reach out to us or see that video, it will be in the link in the description box below.
Mm-hmm. And while you're here and while you're down there in our box, go ahead and click that subscribe button. so you can stay up to date on all of the kinky news and updates around kink,
in our box,
BDSM, and relationships.
In our box.
While you're in the box, go ahead and like it too. And subscribe.
I don't feel too comfortable about that, but hey, you know, if you guys use the scroll bar,
I mean,
to get down to the box.
Spend some more time in the box. There's so much information in the box.
There is. I mean, like that's where the keys to, you know, life and success are in the box. Okay, right. So anyways, if you just landed here and you don't know what the hell you're watching,
hi.
Look, we're here to tell you what it is. This is SafeWord. And here on SafeWord, we have a SafeWord of the day. We use this SafeWord to stop, halt, and completely put a pause on all topics and conversations. So SafeWord crew. Yes, head, shoulders, knees, and toes. What we like to tell everybody what the SafeWord of the day is. If you don't know, it's right here on the board, Kane. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Sleep.
Go sheepy times.
So, as I said, we use this word to stop conversation when it's getting too hot, heavy, with all that, you know. And if you're saying the word and nobody can hear you because we use Zoom and sometimes Zoom has audio issues, what do we do, crew, so that people will shut up?
Come shut.
Give a hand symbol. Throw up that symbol. Make sure that you say the
throw up.
Say, which is sleep. So everybody knows what it is. All right, Mr. Kane, Miss Sasha, do we have
hot topic?
Ooh.
It's magical. It's magical every single time.
Yeah, I tingle.
I do. It makes my hair stand up.
It does. I'm convinced. Yep. Okay,
you like it.
You like it.
All right. So I just got one thing for hot topics tonight, and I don't quite know how to feel about it. Just because it came up as like in the kink and sexual like pages, you know, like came up as kink news, you know, sex news today. So there's a lady in Green Bay. I don't know if you guys have heard about this chick. Her name's Taylor Shaw Business. She's a 24-year-old woman, and she recently just made headlines because, you know, like no big deal or anything. She was smoking with a 25-year-old, you know, just doing a little bit of meth and, you know, just
doing a little bit of meth.
God, you said that so casually, it almost hit me in my forehead. It almost went over it, but
that's the way that's the way this news article portrayed it. You know, like the way that she handled the situation. Apparently there was a slamming door, aroused, you know, some other people in the household, came downstairs. They found, you know, pretty gruesome sight, some dry blood on a mattress, and, you know, just a severed head in a bucket, you know, still running the mill stuff. It just keeps getting wilder from here. That's why I say, like, just
a severed head is running the mill stuff.
Right.
I love how you're just saying this like Jeffrey.
Oh no, and there's a reason for it. There is a reason for it.
Okay.
So, lady called the cops because, you know, she made this horrifying discovery. Cops came over and they're just like, okay, well, who was the last person that had contact with this person? So they arrive at this chick's house and she still got, you know, the clothes on that she made a mess in. So obviously, you know, like, get a warrant, let's check this place out. and just, you know, a little bit here and there, and, you know, just upper torsos in storage containers like tote boxes, crock pots with, you know, organs in them. And they're like, what the hell happened? So her literal quote is, "That's a good question." So apparently she recounted the story, was, like I said, was doing a little bit of meth with this guy, ended up desiring, you know, like a sexual encounter. So they started getting down, getting busy. And then she claims to have blacked out when they started to incorporate chains. Now you see why it was in the kink news. So they started to use some chains, and then she ended up strangling this poor gentleman.
Oh,
Killing him. And then she didn't know what to do. So she thought that she was trying to help, trying to save him by proceeding to play the game of Operation on a real life cadaver.
no.
Then there were some other reports that said, you know, like while she was doing the dismembering, that, you know, when the male body dies, blood kind of stops circulating and pools. And so oftentimes, you know, dead guys will get an erection. So she thought, you know, why not? Don't let that go to waste. And so all while on a meth binge, just went and did the wildest, most heinous acts you could ever imagine, and was just so forthcoming and divulging of all of this information that she had a detailed account of. So it all happened in this county in Green Bay that they have never, ever had anything like it. For like, they don't even have history to cover like anything that's ever happened like that before. So that's about all that I found in the kink headlines. And really the only thing that I really have to question is how the hell do you go that far and not realize at a certain point to stop? Like, there obviously was not a safe word present.
No, absolutely no. No, there was no negotiation present either.
There's so much to question. It sounds like it just sounded good at the moment. Like let's get weird. Like, that's the difference between let's get weird and somebody who's like playing kink.
Yep.
Yeah, no, kink. That's like, let's get weird. Let's get in a hotel. Yeah, it's going down.
There was no discussion. Like, there was no negotiation. There was no communication around that. That was a, hey, here we go. And yeah, you're gonna like this shit. We're in a room now.
Damn, it went too far. I guess I gotta play doctor.
It's just a bunch of suggestions. Yeah, once you're that high, it's just a bunch of suggestions and seeing what's gonna stick. Like, yeah.
Exactly. So is that all we have for hot topics today, Mr. Kane?
Well, I thought it was a pretty gruesome hot topic. You know, I didn't know if I could incorporate anything like. I was thinking about throwing something else in there, but I thought like, I don't want to try and like fit something around this and just be like, yo, we were talking about something happy, then you went to this, or like we were just talking about this, now you're talking about something happy. So I thought I'd let that one stand alone, on its own.
Bring us something happy next week.
A little bit of food for thought.
Something happy.
That one could go into a bunch of conversations. What went wrong?
Right.
Like that
could be deep dive.
A lot went wrong. I mean, like you could spend hours just. But yeah, like Miss Aurora said, there's no negotiations, there's no consent. Everything just kind of fell apart. And then to make matters worse, like just being in a state of complete lapse of judgment, deciding to dismember a human being because in your mind you're playing the game Operation.
All I'm thinking about is like being a fly on the wall while that's going on. Oh.
Nope, I'm good.
Not while all that's going on. Like the before part.
Yeah, like, okay, yeah.
The before, not while all of that's going on. Oh no, if anybody got that idea,
decapitation,
shame on you. Shame on you, shame on you if you thought I meant that. I know where we're at and all, but shame. Shame on anyone who thought that. Shame. No, beforehand. Two high people in a hotel room and the weirdness going on there. It would be entertaining, not arousing.
It was actually in an old lady's, like, I guess they haven't given like too many details. They said it was her roommate, but then they said they investigated her home. So it obviously wasn't her home that they found where the accident initially went down.
Right.
So the only like, and speculating, I think it was the dude's house or like the dude's mom's house.
Oh. That's even worse.
Yeah.
You in somebody else's mama's home. Like what?
You're just not at home doing that.
Right. Like, like I could even understand like the comfort levels of you being in your home and maybe having something sick wrapped around. Okay, yeah. But at somebody else's home, you gotta be some twisted. That's some twisted.
But like
that's
also think of like how jarring it must be like within a community, like nothing like this has ever happened before, and now you're on the map. Like your state or your municipality is known for two things now, you know, the Green Bay Packers and,
and
you know, the most gruesome murder in human
this.
history or something close to it.
Yeah, that's
hopefully she's not sitting in the jailhouse feeling proud about that though. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm hard.
Yeah, I wonder what that trial was like. I wonder. Yeah.
Oh, it's going there. Like this just happened, so she's under arrest.
Oh,
she's
on not even committed or anything. Oh God.
Yeah, she's on
I didn't realize this was recent.
$2 million bond cash is what the judge said on her.
Well, I mean I mean, come on, she don't decapitate somebody talking about she forgot where she. No, okay.
Well, they said meth is a hell of a drug.
This is why SafeWord talks about vetting people before you go on dates, while you're dating them. Vetting people is very, 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 very important because people that are sociopaths or have issues or what, they're very good at hiding these kinds of things. So just, you know,
Kane is down there itching in his skin.
Know, right?
What?
Like you also have to vet your meth dealer.
Yes,
that should go without saying, but it's
anytime
also...
you're willing and dealing, you better do your research, man.
Yeah, still, like even if you're dealing in that kind of thing, you vet the people you're dealing with. It might be shady, but
what are you looking for in a meth dealer, though? Like...
You know what I'm saying?
I find it so shady when someone looks at me crazy for like wanting to vet and get to know somebody before I just randomly go out. Like, oh, what's wrong with you? Nothing at all. Nothing at all. People is crazy. People's crazy.
Well, and it's funny because just so sidetrack, right? But I went out on a date with somebody that like was like, "Did you do a background check?" And I was like, "Well, no, because I
a complete one
now.
No." That I was like, he was like, "You didn't do a background check? You didn't," and I'm like, "Should have? Should I pull out my phone right now? What's your last name? Hold up."
Right. I need your government name. Can I get your government name?
That's not something you bring up like on a first day, like just like, did you do a background check? Like
who asks that? Like you way too eager for something.
On a first date at a fancy restaurant, we're sitting across from each other.
You're just sitting there like,
so I'm sure you did a background check, right? And I'm like, no.
Okay, if somebody asks that on a date, you go, hey, angel shot with lime stat.
Check box, please.
Yeah. I'm like, if it's that deep, you can look up like an Indeed, you can look up a Facebook, something.
Well, why do I feel the need to do that on a first date? If we've been talking, we've talked on the phone.
That part right there. If you feel like it's that deep, look it up yourself, but did you look me up? Then it seems like you have something to hide, or I have a reason to look you up now. Or I have a reason
to be scared. Why am I sitting here right now? Why am I at dinner? Why?
Indeed.
Why I need to go home? I need a box.
Yes, vetting is very important for that reason. Where is my
valet?
Anyone asks you?
I can only imagine. My car. I can only imagine that dude sitting there the next day, like, how come she didn't call back?
She probably thought I'm sitting around like trying to sharpen
background check on your ass.
To skin somebody. Yeah, I thought you wanted to skin me. Yeah, no,
sitting
I'm
on
good.
His human skin leather couch
on
with
your ass because you asked me to.
Yeah, he's like, did you like look me up? Because I wanted to see if my new alias is working. Like what? Like what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. No.
That's a typical dinner conversation. I'm just saying.
That's right up there with. So I'm a part of the witness protection program. Like.
All right, I'm new here. I'll tell you the story, relocation, not by choice. Like what?
Change my name. My social security number is different too.
Right. Like I think this is my new name. Brandon. No, Brian. Brian.
That's it. Brian.
Yeah. From Tacoma, I think. That's neither here nor there. It'll change next year.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay, we're done.
All right. So we already talked about it, and like we said, if you watched the teaser for this week, then you know we have the kink of the month coming up. So tonight is the show dedicated to the kink of the month, which tonight is Somnophilla. And that is a fetish where you like to watch or engage in sexual activities while somebody is sleeping.
Hence the reason the video, if you guys watch the video. Okay.
Yes.
So I know we can sit here and talk all night about, no pun intended, sleeping fetishes and things like that, but we kind of going a little bit off script tonight, and we're just really going to get some candid responses, to a couple of questions, just to kind of get a feel for how this kink is viewed within society and what like everybody's initial reactions are. Is it exactly what people think? It's got a really huge negative connotation, which I'm sure Miss Aurora would love to tell us all about. Look, she's chomping at the bit. So let's just start off with the easy stuff. Like, how would you feel about letting somebody watching you sleep? Like, have you ever tried it before?
Oh, we're gonna start with Miss Sasha on this one. I want to know. I know she's gonna have some things to say. Y'all better listen up. Miss Sasha, no more. Y'all better listen up.
Why me? Why do I have things to say? So how do I feel about somebody watching me sleep? I accept it, even though I don't like it.
Ooh, okay. Explain.
I accept it. There's a lot of things that I accept that come along with my territory that I'm just like, it's inevitable. But yeah, I've had a couple. But does it make you feel
uncomfortable?
Yeah. Sometimes it depends.
It just depends on the person.
Yeah, and the situation, if it's warranted. It definitely depends on if it's a solicited situation, agreed upon situation, or just like, yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Context.
Well, yeah, we're safer. We're talking about like consensual, like letting somebody watching you sleep.
Well,
like,
and it just really depends.
Yeah, right. And it could take a very consensual, non-consent, type of a thing. But here's the deal. I'm gonna flip the script a little bit because I want to hear it, because we heard from a girl. Okay, you're the only guy on the show. I'm sorry, Kane. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna go to you next before we get two girls' opinions and you outed. You know what I'm saying? We'll just get to you.
Honestly, I mean, like Miss Sasha kind of hit it on the head already. I mean, if you have a relationship with that person, if you're comfortable with that person, then yeah, I mean, if it's explained and well thought out beforehand, and if it comes into that consensual non-consent, like I understand that person's going to want to do it when I'm least expecting it, because that's when it's going to be most exciting for them. So yeah, there's going to be some times where like I'm going to wake up because I feel like I'm being watched, like when you're sleeping and you wake up in a panic.
Yeah.
It's going to be like that, a couple of times. Yeah. But for the most part, it's just like if you wake up and you see your partner there, like, oh, I was just watching you, like, all right, it's creepy, but I understand that's your thing. Like, all right, cool. I'm going to roll over this way and try to go back to sleep.
Right. Okay, yes.
Yeah, I think everybody can agree that everybody would be wildly uncomfortable with strangers watching them sleep. Like if you didn't know you were being watched,
that's like if you got your next door neighbor looking in the window at you while you're sleeping, of course you're
my God.
So
too much direct eye contact from someone you're not that close with is too much. Like that, it's like, oh my God.
It's like, why are you staring at
So have you seen those videos or like heard the news stories? Because like one just came out with this chick on OnlyFans where this dude paid to come out and see her, but then ended up being able to get access to her house, copied her house key, and then was coming and going as he pleased, and ended up was like living in her attic for 4 days before she found out that he was even there.
Oh my gosh.
So like, and that's not the only news story of its kind. Like there's even
I've seen a chick do that to a guy before. And
she would eat
people move into apartments, people move into places and then they find out like their pantry had like a trap door. Like there's been a whole family living back there.
That's different from the Sleeping Beauty syndrome that we're talking about tonight. Yeah. Like that's total stalker mode. Like if you,
but I'm just saying, like that's where you'd be wildly uncomfortable. Like if you didn't know you were being watched,
that is stalker. That is stalker.
You that's just
arrested, go to jail, do not pass go. I'm sorry.
Similar to the guy getting a key and trying to like go in and out of the chick's house until she like can figure out if he's in and out. Like that's crazy. Like you can be that obsessed with somebody, but like the watching someone sleep when it's an obsession kind of feeling, that's weird, as opposed to someone being enamored with you.
enamored.
Yes,
and that's what
enamored.
I was say.
It's like you're just so pretty when you sleep, and it's like, okay, but stop. It's
right, and that's what I was gonna say, because like Kane was addressing, like I can see that anybody would feel weird with a stranger. Of course they would. They
yes,
with a stranger staring over the top of them. But let's say this is your partner or whatever, like there's going to be if there's some enamor, hey, I think you're beautiful, you're so peaceful, it's so nice when you're sleeping because you don't get rest, or whatever it is, there's some kind of draw to it,
as opposed to some random guy standing across the room just looking at you like the last rib.
And here's the thing with me, I can even handle somebody, because like this is a fetish, so I can handle somebody getting off to me sleeping as long as I know who the fuck you are, and we have some kind of connection.
Like, stop, over me nasty. So nasty.
And rub one out while I'm sleeping. That's not okay.
Just not be stupid with it. Don't be stupid. Right, don't roll over.
Don't put yourself in prison, because I'm not calling the cops.
No.
Okay. I did not give you consent, sir. I'm sorry.
Just like that famous line, like, don't be that guy. Like, we all know who that guy. Don't be that guy. Don't be that
don't
person.
Don't pull a Quagmire.
Women can do it too.
Yeah, don't be that person. Just
have you ever seen
when you're
Misery?
being that person,
women can do it too.
Okay. But it happens on both ends too. Yes.
But okay, so we've kind of touched on how we all feel. You got another question for us?
I thought you were going to talk about the Sleeping Beauty syndrome.
Oh, you won't? Shoot, I will tell you where it comes from. Let's do this. Okay. All right, let's do this, because this story is actually very interesting, and I'm not going to give a bunch of dates because I don't have it in front of me and I don't want to get it wrong. But this guy, back in the 90s, this is literally when this freaking pronounce it for me, Kane.
Somnophilla
came to be, right? Okay. Up to this point, it was known as like the Sleeping Beauty syndrome. It's like people that get off to someone sleeping. But this guy gave it a name, okay, because he was married. He was married, and he had what they believed to be a brain injury from a trauma from when he was a child. And they think this is where this stems from. But there's no proof to that. That's just what psychologists and evaluators have said, right? So he's married, and he got his wife to agree to, so she had consent. She was taking sleeping pills because he couldn't really get into his fetish unless she was actually sleeping. Like, she couldn't act like she was sleeping. She had to be asleep. So she agreed to take sleeping pills, and this went on for like 6 months, right? And all this guy would do was either stare at her or give her a manicure. Like, there was nothing like super sexual going on, but for him, there was some kind of sexual, attraction to this. Right. So eventually she got to a point where she's like, I'm done. I don't want to take sleeping pills every night. Like, this is crazy. Like, I'm taking a sleeping pill every night so that you can get off, and then you're telling me about it. I'm done. And so he was, he agreed to it. He's like, okay, maybe I need help, whatever. Eventually he relapsed. And she's coming home from work one day, and they're like on the brink of a divorce. Okay. And she's like, look, if this doesn't stop, like, this is the end. He chloroforms her ass when she walks in the door. Like, dresses up like a robber, ski mask, the whole nine.
He's just gonna take it.
Puts her to sleep and gives her a manicure. Like, it's not even like, this. But she obviously, there's no consent. She's feeling some type of way. She's feeling, obviously, I mean, she's been put to sleep. She come home from work. She's like, what the hell?
She's being used.
Yeah. And so he ended up in prison in a psychiatric ward and all this. And that's how somnophilia came to play as a word. And then it gets a very negative connotation. But there are people that have sleeping fetishes, which is a sleeping beauty syndrome, which is more commonly known in kink, right? They don't say somnophilia because that comes with a bad connotation, just like CC and, consensual non-consent. A lot of times, if people don't understand what it is, it comes with a bad rap. So so I just thought that was really interesting, that's where the name came up from. And then it changed kind of like the meaning of what it is to have a sleep fetish. You know what I mean?
Well, and it also goes to show like how just early evaluations of people who had kinks just got labeled as a deviant. And, just because their sexual desires were unconventional, they got deemed as like a societal outcast.
Right.
Because I mean, had he gotten the proper help, or if somebody had actually taken the time to not really condemn him for the actions and try to help him process through them, figure out where they stem from, I mean, he probably could have found an avenue. Even though it didn't get named until the 90s, doesn't mean it wasn't around, prior to then.
Right, exactly. And that's what I was trying to say, is that it kind of changed the name and kind of changed the connotation behind a sleep fetish. So like people really have to go, oh, but I'd get consent before, because I've had people come into the dungeon and go, I have a sleep fetish. Have you ever heard of the Sleeping Beauty? Okay, but like I need you to know that like I'm okay with you acting through it. Can we consent to this? Like, and they're very clear about it. They're very concise. And they just want to watch you sleep.
Yeah.
Some people don't even want to touch you. They just want to watch you sleep. So, I mean, it's funny how one situation can give an entire name to this and then give it a bad rap. And then people are like, feeling bad about their fetish. So
well, that happens all over the place, like kink. I feel like it happens in kink a lot, but I mean, it happens in more than just that. And it's crazy to see how like everybody's just mind and thought process works when it comes to these things. Because had you heard about it like in another way, had somebody just said like, oh, like if your friends had said, oh, I got this new boyfriend and he just likes watching, he's got insomnia, so sometimes he'll watch me sleep, he thinks I'm adorable. A lot of times it's like, oh, like that's weird. Aww. But kind of.
It's cute.
And, like, are you okay? You're cool with it? All right. Well, I guess that's kind of sweet.
Yeah.
And it would make you think about it in a more of a biased opinion. But you hear about a situation where this dude was so like adamant about it, he chloroformed his wife and they ended up getting a divorce. And now you have such a negative opinion of it, because it's like, is that where it progresses to? Just like how everybody thinks, oh, it's a gateway drug. How far do you get? Like eventually you're going to get bored with just sleeping pills and manicures. You're going to progress. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to, get that far with it. Sure, there's extreme cases, but that's not always the deal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's crazy. Well, just to like step back to where we were talking about how just things outside of the norm have become such deviant behavior, like since well beyond where we are now in time. But like maybe it stems from like missionary. Where does the term missionary style come from? And like it seems like everything outside of that is like, oh my God.
Right. Yeah.
You get on your knees. Oh my God, you turn around, you do doggy style. Oh my God, you have sex with another animal.
Yeah.
Oh my God, like I would be interested to find out like where missionary style came from and how like everything outside of basic became such deviant behavior, as opposed to like there's 100 ways to skin a cat, just not when it comes to standard course. Got it. Okay.
Exactly.
There was a comedian one time that had said something. It was like along the lines of, could you imagine, like if you were religious or anything and you believed in hell and you went to hell and you met somebody there that was, been there for over 2,000 years, like was just from a different time. And he was like, oh man, what are you in for? And he was like, I ate a cheeseburger on Sunday. Like, what? You can't do that? And he was like, well, what are you in for? Man, wore a shirt, was made out of 2 different cloths. My bad. And it's like, what? You can't do that anymore? So it was along those lines. And it's just, imagine talking to somebody like what would be labeled a deviant in the 18th century, like medieval times, people getting lobotomized, people getting, like just that weird ass witch doctor treatment of like, oh, I'm going to put these leeches on your chest and you'll no longer feel the need to masturbate.
Like, why was that? Yep. And people were
like, that's crazy. Like
if that person were to see it now, like, wait, you guys have a machine in your home that plays videos that I used to draw and got in trouble for? Like,
it's so crazy. Okay, think about biblical days, even before then, like Greek, like think about time before we existed. How were they talking about 90% of the things that they find deviant behavior in the Bible? Like Sodom and Gomorrah, all that stuff. Like everything's been like watch Game of Thrones. Oh my gosh, I've never like watched Game of Thrones, but my friend watches it. So I'll like go to my friend's house and I'll see like them watching certain episodes.
Game of Thrones buff.
Every episode they're doing some crazy humping. I'm like, oh my God, like what is
that's not even the half of it. There's some crazy ass stuff that happens to get y'all need to pay attention. The prequel's coming out in fucking summer.
No, there's a prequel. Oh God, more. Oh no. But I walked in one day and they're like, oh yeah, they're brother and sister. I was like, what?
Yep.
Like
Cersei. Yep.
Sorry for the spoiler. I don't know, but I walked in on it and I was
no
like,
lie though, it's funny because if you talk to people who have watched it now, they're like, oh my god, they're brother and sister. We're like, oh yeah, Cersei and Jaime.
Yeah, Cersei and Jaime. Yeah, that's why I was like, Cersei.
After 8 seasons, you just become kind of desensitized.
You become used to it. Like after you watch it for a little bit, you're like, oh yeah, they're fucking. Oh, they're fucking again. Oh,
just out of nowhere, it's like just the wall. Like they're having dinner right here.
Oh,
like, what is going on?
They've had incestual kids that are going to take over the kingdom. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
There's a lot.
But again, it's just, like these aren't new concepts. These aren't new things that came about. They've been around for like ever.
Mm-hmm.
And
so it's like, when did it become? When did it get to a point where it was like, okay, this is deviant behavior? When like, okay, after
when the churches were taking over,
the apple, all
Crusades.
That stuff. Like we've always been deviant since then.
Where do you think the missionary thing comes from? Their crusades, when they were trying to fucking get everybody to go on to Christianity, all of that missionary, like they would walk in to make sure somebody was deflowered the right way. I mean,
That's the other thing. Like nowadays, that's not a thing. And that used to be such an acceptable practice back in the day. And now it's just, it was, and not to say it wasn't violating personal boundaries back then.
Yeah, because it was like these women didn't have any consent. These fucking there would be a group of people that would come in and deflower this woman before she laid with her husband. Like
warm the oven up.
Let me make it easier for him so he can just get his rocks off.
So that's just what's crazy. I think it just became a bunch of people who saw other people doing stuff and they were so ashamed to see other people doing what they were doing. They said, that's deviant behavior. How dare I do that? That looks so crazy that I did that. So let me condemn you for it.
Right. I feel guilty. So let me make the guilt on you. Hurt people.
But I can't help but imagine like anybody passing judgment back in the day, like, oh, I'm condemning you, you're going to be sent to the nut house, a psychiatric ward for this kind of behavior. But no, low key, I'm going to go try that tonight.
Right, exactly.
It's as asinine as a holier than thou therapist. If you're a holier than thou therapist and you've never had therapy yourself, in my opinion, I feel like that's asinine.
Yep. If you're a therapist and you haven't had therapy yourself, what the hell are you doing giving anybody advice? Anybody.
Ciao. Yeah.
All right.
Anyways,
so, getting back to somnophilia. All right. So we talked about, like how we feel about it, how it would feel if somebody was watching us sleep. Now, personally, have you guys ever been on either side of somnophilia? Have you ever watched somebody sleep, or has anybody ever watched you sleep?
I've been doing the finger dance.
Go for it, Aurora.
Yeah, do the finger dance. Okay, I like literally, we're talking about a fetish of mine. Okay, I have to be connected with somebody. Well, we're talking about a fetish of mine, and okay, maybe I'm a little creepy. Maybe I'm I don't know. I like if I like you, I like to watch you sleep. I do. This is why I was so good at directing this video. Just because, I like to watch the twitch. What you doing? What you thinking? Wonder what's going on in there. Ooh. What you dreaming about? Oh,
that's making me wildly uncomfortable.
But okay, here's the deal. I'm not gonna do it creepily over somebody I haven't talked to about this. Like it's like, I'm just gonna watch you sleep, but like it's not creepy. Okay, I ain't gonna touch you, but I have insomnia. So if you laying next to me, you sleeping, what else I got to watch?
You're like, oh, your sleep looks so delicious. I wish I could have some.
I wish I could sleep like maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's because I have insomnia and I can't sleep. I'm just like, ooh, that sleep looks so good. Ooh, God damn. Fuck.
I've seen people like sleep that. And I'm like, like you see a baby sleep, like totally no sex involved. But if you see a baby sleep, they just be knocked out like in the most
and it's kind of the same
positions.
It's kind of the
like
same
my
thing.
head would
like,
break.
I love
watching
a little baby sleep too. Like that's the thing. Like if they falling out, especially that's why in the video I was like,
man,
because and don't that is like you are ultimately comfortable.
So I don't mind watching people like nod off too, because I remember growing up and going to church and like sitting, like singing in the choir, and you get to see everybody else in the in the congregation, and to see all the deacons on one side and they OG. So you see them just sitting there and they just
nodding, just
amen.
No lie, we used to do that in class, like when we were in training.
Praise Jesus.
Oh, the worst is when you're falling asleep and you're literally falling asleep and you're there and out of nowhere you're just like, wait, didn't fall.
No,
the head didn't get heavy. You just
I've done one where I've been sitting in the fucking goddamn seats and I'm sitting on the edge and my ass is falling asleep and I'm doing one of these numbers just out the side of the booth, right? And I'm just like, oh, Jesus, praise Jesus, God, hallelujah, God, the Holy Spirit, woo, huh? Yeah.
Oh, don't fall asleep on the end. That's like the end part.
And I know people are looking at me because I done fell into the aisle.
No, for me, it happened a lot in training, like going through the military, sitting in classes. Everybody in class, I mean, like, because you're sleep deprived, you know, they work you out, you're going out, you're constantly PTing, everything that you're doing is like you're active. And so then they expect you to sit in a class after you just ran 3 miles. And it's like, now pay attention to this briefing. And so there'd be some people that, you know, just they were still riding the energy from, you know, like they still had that adrenaline, so they were up. And then other people just sitting down in a nice, cool, air-conditioned room, and they turn the lights off, they got a projector going, and then you just see
nodding off. Just
you fling the head up.
Yo, I was told by a friend that like in boot camp, you guys are made to stay up like past.
So the first 48 hours that you're in boot camp, you arrive at night. You don't sleep that night. You go through all your paperwork and processing, getting your gear and your equipment the first day. Then the second night that you're there is, I thought was kind of jacked up, but that's where they take you through all of your like insurance paperwork. Like if anything happens to you, your SGLI, who gets your life insurance policy. And you're sitting in this big wide room and you're filling out legal documentation. And I'm pretty sure like had a lawyer been there, but like, what are you doing? Don't sign that yet. Like, but you're just, and they tell you like, hey, after this, you guys get to get the rack. You're signing all kinds of paperwork. You don't even know what you're signing. You're just, and that's within the first 48 hours.
Yeah.
And so later on, they say that it's because they're trying to get everybody synchronized on the same sleep cycle. So they sleep deprive everybody for 48 hours. So the first night you actually do get sleep, everybody's out.
Wait, but I have a question. And this is something you can answer for me. Okay. So I know that there's a test section where you guys have to stay up while you're taking a paper test, like some kind of work. Well, anyways, my friend told me like the only way that you can stay up through those 48 hours is to drink water. And he's like, you have no idea. Drinking water keeps you the fuck awake. Like when you're nodding the hell out, I'm like, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I don't believe you. I don't fucking believe you. And one of the times that I was like staying up real late, I was like, let me just try. Yo, you feel like you're drowning. Like after a little while, you start feeling like you're drowning. Like, did you experience that? Is that something that you went through?
So yeah, they do give you like an entrance exam, like when you first get there, and you later on find out it was never graded. It's just, you know, how you perform under pressure, how you do certain things, you know, with sleep deprivation. It's all a part of like the training. The last test that you get during the Crucible for Marines, you get sleep, but it's in 2-hour increments because everything you do is like a block. So you get a allotted block. Everything's broken down like by 2 hours. Every 2 hours you're doing a new training event. And when that training event's over, you're marching to the next point. And so sometimes you got to run, sometimes you get done quickly. And so that's what they would say. The faster you get this done, the easier the pace is to the next event.
Right.
You know, if you guys want to play around, you guys want to act like you don't want to do this, you guys don't give it your all, we'll sit here and we'll do it. And then we'll run to the next event where you guys are again doing more physical things. And so it's better to give it your all the first go, so that way you can kind of gather yourself back together, marching to the next event. And I was going to say, one of the funny things that like, so when you're in boot camp, it's absolute hell. You know, like it's really, everybody says like while you're in there, it's really hard. It's stressful. You know, you got really bad anxiety. You get to develop a sense of paranoia if you've never had one before, because of always thinking that somebody's over your shoulder, because these guys will pop out of anywhere. Drill instructors are like ninjas, just You don't think you got followed. You don't think
God.
anybody's awake. You think you know where everybody's at. Then all of a sudden, you know, somebody walks across and you're like, there's no entrance from that way. And nobody passed by earlier. Where did you come from? The air vent?
Yeah, no, I ain't got time. Reflex, like, all right.
Right. I don't want to be getting in trouble. I'd be in the brig.
Well, so it was funny because, like I said, during one of those training events, after we had done what's called the confidence course, and it's like where you see all the big, like, Lincoln log obstacles.
Yeah, like
that's called the confidence course. So you do the confidence course, you take 3 hours doing that, you run back, you shower really quick, then you got to go to class. So there was this one guy who was nodding off and I guess fell out so hard that when he snapped out of it, he stood up in the middle of a briefing. Nobody was saying nothing, nobody was talking. This dude just popped right up, "Aye, sir," and drew the attention of everybody in there, and they were just, "All right, you were falling asleep, get over here."
You stitched yourself out.
Just like highlighted yourself in
you put yourself on the chopping block, my ninja.
Yeah, at that point it's like, well, dang, that's like waking up from your.
You asked the question. Well, so
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was like waking up from a dream. I know, like in some of my jobs in the past, like I would be in leadership or management, so there would be so many checklists or things I had to do for like walkthroughs or inspections or whatever. I would wake up in my sleep talking about, I double counted it and locked it up. Okay, I work too much.
I've done that with SafeWord. I'm like, wait. Like, let me put more two more layers, one more layer, two. And I'm like, I'm done with the edit.
Yeah, like I already got that in. Or wake up and be like, dang, I didn't do that.
I did it right. Hold up, wait.
Okay,
yeah.
I did. Out of sleep, nothing. You could be in a whole nother dream. Be like, right. Oh, nothing. Okay.
Nothing. Okay. My dad.
All right. So we talked about a little bit of, like just, have you ever been on either side, like watched somebody sleep or been watched while you were sleeping?
Right. And
so if you had a problem with it, like, I think we kind of already touched on this, but like, how comfortable would you have to be? Like, would you be in a relationship? If somebody brought this up, what date would somebody have to tell you that they have a sleeping fetish for you to be a little comfortable with it?
And I'm going to cut this all off because I want to hear from Miss Sasha, because Miss Sasha goes back and forth between her journalistic mind and what she deals with on a fucking daily basis. So Miss Sasha, would you like to give us your switch personality fucking basis on this, please?
Well, okay. The only reason why I have such a switch personality is because like I can't find nobody to take seriously, so I can't take nobody else seriously, and it's been a long time for me. But idealistically, the person that I'm connected with and I have all that built with, yes, absolutely, that's fine. Would it annoy me sometimes? That's fine, but it would be endearing.
Right. Okay.
If my partner did that, yes.
Okay.
So how much would you be willing to take, though? I mean, like. So we've heard a scenario where you had to take sleeping pills every night. Now, if that was something,
okay, no,
how in love?
Would where do you draw the line? Like, where do you draw the line?
How in love would you have to be to take a sleeping pill?
Okay, draw the line. Hard no is forced. I'm not about to be forced to go to sleep for you to have to get off. That part right there. If you say, "Baby, I like this. You are so beautiful when you sleep." It turns me on. I just like watching you sleep. Don't tell me what your ass do. Don't tell me what you got to do. Don't tell me what you about to do. Just tell me that much. So once they start to bring up, I love watching you sleep. You show people. Thank you. Keep it to yourself.
Okay, and this is where Sasha and I differ. Okay. Because although I also like to watch, I love somebody that will watch me or wake me up from sleep.
See, that was different. That's different. That's totally different. We're not talking about being woken up
now. But again, I'm going to piggyback on Miss Sasha's thing here. Okay. I have to have a connection with you. If you're watching me from a fucking separate room, I don't know who the hell you are. We got problems. We got issues. I'm sorry. What?
If I know it's happening, then that's different.
Right. If I get consensual non-consent. So this is where we talk about like having the conversation beforehand, having a negotiation,
or like
fetish, like with
going to some place where you know that that's a possibility, as opposed to knowing that was just like, damn, a random Ross dressing room, as opposed to this hotel is known for this. So yeah, I know.
Right. And this is a fetish of mine. So when it comes to that point where I feel connected with you, I'm going to say, okay, so just so you know, don't get freaked out. I like to watch you sleep. I ain't gonna do nothing to you. I ain't gonna put you to sleep. You know what I'm saying? But if you sleeping, I might watch you. I might get off. That's just my, I'm sorry. That might just be what happens. You want to hear about it, I'll tell you. If you don't, then fine, cool. That works too.
All right. And so that runs into like the final question of the evening, and we're kind of getting into it. So let's just, address the elephant in the room. What is your biggest fear entering this kink? Like what's the part of your brain that tells you like, this is why I'm uncomfortable with it?
Oh. And Mr. Kane, you're the only male on this show.
Right.
Does it make you feel uncomfortable? You done avoided all these damn questions.
I know, you really have.
Look here. We don't
have I ever tried it? I've had people watch me sleep. I like my sleep, so if you're sleeping, I'm gonna sleep. I take that as an opportunity, like if you're getting rest and ain't nothing need to be done, then I'm gonna get some rest too. And so I'm a cuddler. I like to cuddle. So if you're sleeping and you look comfortable and you look peaceful, as enticing as it is to me, is to join that person and have comfortable sleep together. So it's not so much a watching scenario. So I wouldn't say that I've ever watched anybody sleep, but I have had people tell me that I'm cute when I sleep, or I do this when I sleep, or they like watching me sleep for this reason. And depending on the way they approach the situation, a lot of times it's like, oh, okay, cool. And you kind of, for me, it kind of built a stronger connection, just because like, oh man, this person cares about me so much that even sleeping is enticing for them. Like I'm even attractive to them when I'm asleep. So it gives you like a self-confidence boost. It kind of gives you like an ego boost to think that somebody could adore you even in your most vulnerable of states. So
right, because you have no control over that. So if someone finds you attractive,
but again, it's like I have to have a relationship with that person to find it endearing.
I must be a control freak, because stuff like that bothers me so much when people are just like, oh my God, everything about you just turns me. I'm like, gosh, not one moment I can't. Damn.
Can I get a breather?
It's weird. Maybe it's just being in control of not being able to let somebody just turn it off, like just at all, like none of it, like period. Never.
Like for me, I don't get people who can sleep in public. Like if you ride like city transportation or like public transportation, I don't like. Nope. Damn, like how like you must be really tired. So that's like the first thing that comes to mind.
Like, what?
That's the first thing that comes to mind. Is this like, what is this person? This person's on their way to their third job or heading home from their third job, or like just got like a tumultuous family situation or a home situation or something. That this like 15-minute bus ride or public transport ride is
power nap
your only nap for the day, like your only respite, your only moment for yourself.
A part of my life, I grew up in New York. You do not ride the trains or the buses there. If you're new to New York, like if you're new, do not fall asleep on the bus, the train, none of that. Just stay awake. It's a 30-second ride, and if you miss your stop, you can get off and get on 30 seconds prior to this. Don't fall asleep. Okay. No.
Absolutely.
Your surroundings at all times, please.
And so what would be my biggest fear entering this kink is just like we talked about. I mean, like it stressed me out reading that news article about that OnlyFans dude.
Right.
It's the not knowing, like, if you've got, even if you have like a small home, it almost makes it even worse because you're just like, is there any little part? There's times where like I've lived in houses where been there for about like 8-9 months, and then you're just thinking like, wait, what's the actual layout of this place? Because I don't feel like this wall is the outside wall on this bedroom. So I feel like there's like a space in between.
Yep.
Like I had a master bedroom closet that butted up against another side room. And so I remember one time, like something fell over in the closet, and the way it sounded when I was in the room next door was like, I heard it, but it didn't sound like it was just on the other side of the wall. And so it really made me question what's in between the walls, how much space is really in between these areas. And then hearing about, like families that live in like nooks and pantries, or like living in attics, living in basements, people finding out that their walls were hollow because it used to be a service channel for like back in the 50s or the 40s or something.
Yeah.
And like that kind of stuff creeps me out. Like I have to know the exact blueprint layout.
Yeah.
Like where does this wall end? Where does this wall
Or
start?
like
Is there a possibility that there's a small
exits
family
and
living
entrances.
in my walls?
Mm-hmm. Those
Yeah,
undercrawls
you
under
know,
old
all your
houses.
escape routes. I'm the same way. I come into a space and I'm like, where's the door? Where's the back
Yeah.
door? Where's this? Where's that? How
Like,
do I
I'm
get
somebody
out?
when I go to bed at night, I don't just lock the doors, I make sure the windows are locked too. And like if you have that kind of like paranoia, it's annoying when you have to go through and recognize like, oh damn, there's a window over there too. Is it locked?
It's almost OCD.
Oh yeah. Having control of something.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have minor OCD. That's why I don't like the fact that people like get off about everything about me. It's like, God, I can't even make myself look remotely unattractive at all in this position. Like I can't eat without.
You getting off to it? Without, what? Stop.
I can't be
my own skin.
Oh, I can't drive.
The most condescending thing ever. It's like, oh my God, why are you so cute when you're angry? I'm like, I'm trying to have a serious conversation. I'm crying. There's snot sniveling out of my nose. And you think it's cute right now? I should slap you.
Yeah. How am I cute? What?
Oh, your farts are so cute. What? I've never farted in front of somebody, but people say that. Not to me, but I've heard it, and it's not cute.
Not to me, but I've heard it.
No.
Because I don't fart, just so you know.
I don't in front of people. I don't.
But yo, that'll be a kink of the month. Season 3. We will talk about farts in a jar. Season 3. Okay, so
that's all I had for us tonight. We're going to do it just a real quick. You know, you got some personal opinions on how we feel about somnophilia. Granted, everybody in the room is pretty much, you know, of the same mind, where if you're in a relationship with somebody and everything's, you know, right, communication, consensual, non-consent, everything's on the up and up, you know, it can be a kink enjoyed by all parties. It's when you don't have that relationship, or God forbid you don't know, that we all draw the line and have a problem.
Oh, real quick, let me just add this in here. Okay. My first experience with this fucking fetish was when I worked in a dungeon. And I was so mad because the girl that did the least amount of work, you know who you are, the girl that did the least amount of work in that dungeon got the Sleeping Beauty Syndrome client. So she literally got to come in on her shift and sleep for 2 hours and get paid for it. And the dude did nothing. He just sat there and watched her for 2 hours, and she got to sleep and got paid for it. Meanwhile, we're over here like tying people up, shibari knots and shit, like working.
Oh my gosh, working for the buck, and they just get to reap the benefits. Like, oh, just 40, an hour and 40.
Watch me.
No worries, I got you.
Do you see my fishnet? Let me hike it a little.
Right. Oh, you want me to sleep like I'm dead? No worries.
Okay, you want me
like I'm dead? Yeah, for sure. No worries.
2 hours.
Drool?
2 hours.
Got it.
And if I told you what she made in those 2 hours, you guys would shit your pants, because she could have just retired off of the sleep client. Okay.
You have two multifaceted, you know, divas and goddesses here for you. But that's needed here nor there.
You need, totally baby. We here for you. I'll go to sleep.
All right, so I'm heating up in this thing. I'm going to cut this short. We hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. It was quick. It was short, to the point. Like we said, you got, you know, our personal opinions on somnophilia. So if it's a fetish that you'd like to explore, March is the time to do it, because SafeWord endorses somnophilia.
Bye-bye.
SafeWord is brought to you this month by Somnophilia, and we will endorse Somnophilia for the rest of the month. So if you enjoy it, if you like it, if you've ever experienced it, or if you just want to, you know, like, comment, or, you know, just
or
let your story be known, drop it. You know, you got our social media channels, you got the description box below. So drop us your stories. Let us know what your guys' thoughts are. You know, talk about your fears, talk about your fetishes. We're here for it. But for tonight, that is it for us. You know, we know you guys got some stuff to do. It's Friday night. So go out, have some fun, have some consent, and communicate, and make sure everything that you're doing is okayed by your partner, even if it is just watching them sleep. So good night from SafeWord. Have a good weekend, and we will check you guys out next week.
We're going to sleep.
Dreams.
We're going to sleep. Good night.
Yes. Sweet dreams.